Today's topic: tips to set up an effective budget. We'll cover what is budgeting, important things to know, 10 steps to making a financial budget, how to set up a budget tips, mistakes to avoid, future budgeting webinars and other webinars, free credit report evaluation, and solutions in our referral program. What is budgeting? Basically, it's making sure that you're spending less than you're bringing in and planning for both the short term and long term, such as a home purchase or retirement. Developing a good mindset for budgeting. Unfortunately, many people think of budgeting as depriving themselves, and they avoid it like they do a diet. However, just like a diet is really just a program for eating, budgeting is just a program for spending. So if you're hitting a mental roadblock when you hear the word budget, just call it by different names, such as personal financial planning. Important things to know: a need is something that you have to have, and it is important in life. Example: food, clothes, and shelter. But even though these are needs, they should be measured and are scaled down. As far as food, it doesn't make sense in you spending $500 a month on food when technically you can spend $300 and get by, fairly well. Don't overindulge. Same thing with clothes and shelter. You don't need to stay in a house that's $1,500 a month if you can find one for you and your family that maybe is $1,100 a month. Okay, it just helps your budget out. A want is something that you would like to have but can live without. Great example would be jewelry, the latest smartphone or electronics device. The S6 just came out, and I'm pretty sure there's a lot of folks that just got an S5 a couple of months ago. During the holidays, they're probably trying to upgrade to that S6 and paying an exorbitant amount of money, for the upgrade if it's possible. It's just, marketing makes us think that we have to have the latest that's out, and that's not always the case. Don't be one of the Joneses. Be one of the individuals that keeps a level head and say, well, I'll wait. This is not my time for that. Surplus cash is more income than expenses. Fixed expenses are expenses that are relatively constant each month. Example would be your rent, car insurance, or car note. Variable expenses are expenses that are likely to change in the short term. Example would be credit card bills, utilities, food. And your net worth are assets minus liabilities. Now, these are some important things that you need to do as far as like setting up your budget and just dealing with your finances as a whole. Now, we're going to cover 10 steps to making a financial budget. Budgets, number one, budgets are a necessary evil. They're the only practical way to get a grip on your spending and to make sure your money is being used the way you want it to be used. Number two, creating a budget generally requires 3 steps. Identify how you're spending money now. Evaluate your current spending and set goals that take into account your long-term financial objectives. And track your spending to make sure it stays within those guidelines. Number 3, use software to save grief. If you use a personal finance program such as Quicken or Microsoft Money, the built-in budget-making tools can create your budget for you. Now, in an upcoming budget webinar, we're going to introduce the program that we think, that is going to be an excellent tool, for our clients. Number 4, don't drive yourself nuts. One drawback of monitoring your spending by computer is that it encourages overzealous attention to detail. Once you determine which categories of spending can and should be cut or expanded, concentrate on those categories and worry less about other aspects of your spending. And one of the components that we're going to cover is not really just starting out with the software, but doing this on paper. So we'll have a worksheet available that's attached with this video for you to be able to download. Number 5, watch out for cash leakage. If withdrawals from the ATM machine evaporate from your pocket without apparent explanation, it's time to keep better records. In general, if you find yourself returning to the ATM more than once or so a week, you need to examine where that cash is going. Number 6, spending beyond your limits is dangerous, but if you do, you've got plenty of company. Government figures show that many households with total incomes of $50,000 or less are spending more than they are bringing in. This doesn't make you an automatic candidate for bankruptcy, but it's definitely a sign that you need to make sure some serious cuts are in place. Number 7, beware of luxuries dressed up as necessities. If your income doesn't cover your costs, then some of your spending is probably for luxuries, even if you've been considering them to be filling a real need. Number 8, tide yourself. Repeat that again, tide yourself. Aim to spend no more than 70% of your income. That way you'll have 20% to invest and the other 10% left to save for your big picture items. 9, don't count on windfalls. When projecting the amount of money you can live on, don't include the dollars that you can't be sure you'll receive, such as a year-end bonus, tax refunds, or investment gains. Number 10, beware of spending creeps. As your annual income climbs from raises, promotions, and smart investing, don't start spending for luxuries until you're sure that you're staying ahead of inflation. It's better to use those income increases as an excuse to save more. Let's dive into how to set up your budget. Now, this is the budget worksheet that I mentioned that's attached with this video. We're going to use this worksheet to see how much you spend this month and really every month. So we start out maybe a little small, but when you see the worksheet, and you kind of follow along on the replay of this, it's going to make a lot of sense. Your paycheck, which is your salary after taxes, benefits, and maybe any possible check cashing fees, in this example comes out to $5,050. That's the total monthly income. Now let's cover some expenses. And the first expense is housing expenses. Now her rent or mortgage is roughly $1,050. Renter's insurance or homeowner's insurance is $25. Utilities like electricity and gas is $235. Internet, cable, and phones is $105. Food expense, she's got in groceries and household supplies $500. The meals out, $100. Other food expenses, $50. Transportation expense, gas for the car, $250. Car maintenance like oil changes, $25. Car insurance, $125. Car loan, $340. Health expense, doesn't have anything there. So personal and family, she's got $100 on money given or sent to family. Clothes and shoes, $100. Entertainment, $50. Other personal or family expenses, $25. Nothing for finance. And then as far as other expenses and miscellaneous expenses, there's school cost of $25, other payments of $75, and other expenses this month of $50. So now her total expenses were $3,230. Now, as far as let's see if there's a surplus. The income was $5,050, but out of that $5,050, only $3,230 was spent. So that gives a positive surplus, cash surplus of $1,820. Now, doing the math, that puts it at about that 30% range. Remember I said you should try to budget yourself where you only spending about 70% of your total income and then investing and saving the difference. Perfect example here. Let's touch on a few tips and mistakes to make sure you stay on track. Now, when budgeting, it's important that you balance your checkbook. Not balancing the checkbook, will bring additional costs that you're not looking for. NSF fees, normally from the bank and from the person that you may have written a check to, as well as your debit card transaction. Those are overdrafts. I mean, just unnecessary money that you don't really want to have come out your pocket. Use coupons. I mean, coupons are an effective way to save a ton of money. I used to work at a grocery store, and we had plenty of our clients coming in that use coupons. I mean, I've seen people have a $125 grocery bill that's been dropped down to about $75 because they use coupons. Avoid ATM fees. Now, I never use an ATM that there's a fee that's attached to it. Most times I'll go to, and I'm not sure if you guys have this in your area. We have grocery stores here called Aldi. They will give you up to $200 cash back. Most times I'll go there, I'll get cash back, unless I go directly to the bank and get money. Walmart will give you up to $100. But the good thing about Walmart is that you can, purchase a pack of candy and maybe do about 3 or 4 purchases like that of $100, and you've got yourself $300-400. And that's still a heck of a lot. At least you're getting something out of it. You're not spending $2 or $3 for ATM fee and you didn't walk away with anything. I mean, at least I walk out of that store, I've got a couple of packs of candy. And Kroger's is another place. But I mean, find your place that that you can get cash back at your grocery store, your favorite grocery store, and as you're making your grocery purchases, or if you just want to grab a little snack, which would be a candy bar, very effective way to get some cash back and not have to pay those ATM fees, late fees. Over the last year, I've become more of a stickler than ever about late fees. I had a situation about a year ago where due to helping someone out, I was was kind of well, and I shouldn't really say that too, but I had some other factors that were kicking in too with some clients that were paying late, that I was paying my bills late, and so one month it hit me, and I realized that not only does my electric company charge me 10% when I don't pay on the due date, but if within a couple of days after the due date, if I haven't paid, then they charge a $20 admin fee. So one month, instead of my bill being about $200, I ended up paying a $240 light bill, and trust me, that was the last time that they got any late fees from me. Now, when you're strapped on cash, sometimes instead of coming out of pocket and going in areas that you shouldn't to get some money to buy something, go through, find out things in your house that you really are not using, have a yard sale on it, and take that cash to go and get what you want. I mean, it's always a smart way of doing things. And trust me, it's getting warm now. Folks love yard sales. Shop at Goodwill. Just recently, I mean, I've picked up some really nice jeans. I mean, if I could show you a picture of these jeans, they look like they're brand new. But I only paid $7 and some change. I think it was $7.50 for each pair of jeans, and I've gotten at least 4 pair of jeans over the last couple of weeks. A few dress shirts, and some slacks. I mean, as far as like Goodwill, I mean, it's a great place that if you're looking to save save some money. Cut costs on cable, movie rentals, pay-per-view. Go to budget movies or catch a matinee if you don't have a budget movie in your area. Now, in my house, we don't have cable. We've got another device which allows you to stream movies and everything, and that's what we use between that and the computer. For our movie watching. Okay, we don't Redbox rental. We don't do any of that stuff. Now, we will go to the budget movie from time to time, but as far as cable and the pay channels and everything, that's a no-no. And so you may want to find other alternatives to cutting your cable costs. I'm not going to tell you that you shouldn't have cable. I mean, that was a decision that we made in my household. But as far as if you want to cut some of your costs and eliminate your movie channels, those streaming players are great sources. I mean, if you want, you've got, I'll share my number at the end. You can give me a call. I can give you a couple of tips on those. Eliminate unnecessary bills and payments. Sometimes just simply looking at your credit report will help out with that. I have new clients that come on board, or I should say prospects that are coming on board, and I'm finding out they're throwing money in the wrong areas, like a debt collector. Okay, paying a debt collector. Talk with us. We've got solutions that can help you out with the debt collector. Find ways to increase your income. Not a big advocate of saying, hey, get a second job, but you've been at that job for a while. If they haven't given you a raise, you may want to ask for a raise. If they don't give you a raise, you're not making enough money on that job, then I would definitely say now is the time to go ahead and get your white shirt out, sharpen up your resume, and start looking for another job that will pay you a little bit more, so that you can meet all of your expenses and have some surplus. Another great tip would be Get yourself a home-based business. There are plenty tax advantages with setting up a home-based business. Now, mistakes to avoid. Number one, forgetting to write down expenses. That's a deal killer. Number two, intentionally not write down purchases. That's another deal killer. 3, buying on impulse. A no-no. Number 4, becoming a victim of budget busters. Number 5, being so frugal that it makes you miserable. And number 6, ignoring the time value of money. And what that means about time value, or one of the meanings of time value of money, is that if you were going to start saving, don't wait till the age of 50 to decide that you're going to start saving. If you are at the age of 25, you can have so much more money saved up by the time you're 50 than you can at the age of 50 and now you're 75. Okay, so let's cover a few do's and don'ts. Stay within your budget. You know, sometimes it gets a little difficult, but I mean, staying within your budget, knowing the max that you can spend, finding areas to be able to cut costs, it's important. Spending your bonuses and extra paychecks, that's money that should be used as far as going towards your savings and your investing. Take a little bit for yourself, just a little bit, but put that away. Now, income tax return. I noticed that most, I'm pretty sure, at least the ones that I know, income tax return check is going in 30 days. Not smart. When you have a whole year of unexpected things that can come up, that income tax check should not be used to upgrade your flat screen TV from a 60 to a 70. It's just, you can 60 is a great viewing screen. Why not take that money and go and let's say invest in something, and maybe the returns from that, you can go ahead and upgrade and get you a 70-inch. Do some things that are a little smarter, but if not, if you're not sure what you can do with it or what you want to do with it to make some money, additional money with it, just take and save it. Okay, so when rainy day come, you always know where you can go and get access to that money. Take care of a car repair, dental work for one of the kids, whatever the need may be. Now, this is something that I just despise. Okay, when I hear people say I work hard, so I got to treat myself. Okay, sometimes that comes back and it bites. Okay, that's the only ones I'm actually applying that toward. If you make more than enough money to cover your household expenses, and you have some extra, then I'm going to definitely say, treat yourself. And especially if you're within surplus and you're in that 30% or that 70% range of your household expenses, get yourself something, buy something, something out somewhere to eat or new outfit or something, but if the amount of money that you make is barely enough for you to cover your expenses, okay, those words of I work hard, so I gotta treat myself should not come out your mouth. You don't deserve it. Okay, what you need to do is get yourself in a position, okay, where you make some extra money with something and take that money and treat yourself. Okay, just I don't like to see consumers or anybody in general in a bad situation because of bad moves that they're making. I see them all the time. All right, phone contracts. Major phone carriers: Verizon, AT&T, Sprint, T-Mobile. Trust me, there are other alternatives to being on those very networks. Okay, with some third-party companies that we called pay-as-you-go or prepaid plans that you're going to get the same service. You're just going to get it at a much cheaper rate. I've seen a phone service that's on T-Mobile. A couple years back, they were $60 a month for an unlimited plan. T-Mobile had that same service for $90 a month plus taxes, okay, which came out to about like 98 and some change. That $40, that is a big difference. You can do something else with. Be smart. Buying fancy or gourmet coffees and teas, we can pick up some coffee, maybe those same fancy gourmet coffees from the grocery store, bring it to work. and just save a ton of money and not spend $5 a day on a cup of coffee at the major stores. You know, overindulging in holiday spending. Now that's not always just around Christmas time. That can be the other holidays. You know, those holidays where like when 4th of July comes and you figure that you got to get your fit, you know, an outfit for the, 4th of July hangout, you know, with the family. I'm pretty sure for most of us we've got, you know, sufficient of clothes that we, you know, currently kind of wear every day that would be perfect for that scenario, not to have to spend money on, unless we've got it in surplus, on getting a fit for the holiday. Another thing, eating out and snacks. Sometimes those are things that we can avoid. You know, you figure you eat here $3 a day, you eat there. You know, I knew someone who said that he ate out at least 2-3 times a day at fast food restaurant. You know, and this guy was a pretty big guy, so I'm pretty sure he wasn't spending 3-4 bucks a pop. You know, and when he decided that that was what he was going to cut out, you know, he saved a ton of money. Now, as far as upcoming workshops, we're going to do a part 2 to this budgeting workshop here, where we're going to go more into the actual software, the one that we recommend. You know, some of it's definitely going to be coming up soon, so I want you to keep an eye out for the announcement. We're also going to cover webinar tax advantages of a home-based business. Now, this is always going to be an offer. This is an offer that we have 365 days a year for a free credit report evaluation. You can go over to creditchecktotal.com to order your reports for $1, 7-day trial. You're going to need to cancel it, or else they're going to charge you $19.95. All I need to do, if you sign up and you get me your login information, you know, which would consist of your username, your password, and your social. You know, if you log into the system, the same information I'm asking for is going to be the same information it's going to ask you to get in. You know, we get that. We can take a look at that report in probably 24 hours or less, and that's just at 24 business hours, and get back with you with an evaluation on it. And after that, you can go ahead and cancel service. But you know, this is a great deal here for you to to know what's on your credit report, to be able to address and fix errors that could potentially be on there, but also get some guidance as far as what you need to do to make a good financial decision. I noticed that there are a lot of things in that credit report that we can possibly save a consumer tons of money on. Now, some of our solutions, credit correction. This is where we go in, we dispute negative or incorrect information that's on the credit report. We've got collections resolution program. This is if you've got any debt collectors that are sending you anything in the mail or calling you telling that you have a debt, and they're trying to get some money out of you. We go in, we dispute that debt. Most times this situation is taken care of without you having to come out of pocket with anything. Credit building program. It's a standalone program. It is actually also part of our credit correction program. With this program, we actually educate our clients on how to go out and reestablish themselves with credit. We actually have a platform that they can pick up secured or unsecured credit cards off of. Great stuff as far as rebuilding. We'll create a game plan for you, that will get you back on track. And most times with this program, it's about 90 to 100 days, 180 days that you can get yourself back on track credit wise. Debt collector call violations. We'll show you here how potentially debt collectors that are calling you may owe you $500 for each one of those calls at a minimum. Our educational series. This is actually part of our educational series. This budgeting webinar that you're on right now is actually part of our educational series. We've done quite a few. Some are calls, but we're moving to the platform now where it's going to mainly be webinars, so to be video related. We're going to have some upcoming educational series that there's going to be a small fee that's going to be charged to attend that event. Okay, so when you get the announcements, all of the details will be in there. There won't be any surprises. Lawsuit resolution. What that is if you're getting sued by a debt collector or a debt collector's attorney, we can educate you on the steps to take to defend yourself against that. Make them go away. So judgment resolution is where you, after we review your credit report, or you happen to do a review of your credit report, you see that there's a default judgment on your file that you really didn't know anything about. There's a possibility that we could show you how to go in and see if we can get the judge to, or the court to, remove to drop the judgment, or to bring it back before the judge. Okay. Identity theft protection. Identity theft is a serious crime, and if you haven't, really put some serious thought into it, okay, it's about that time, because, I mean, it's like the #1 crime worldwide, and it not only affects adults, but it affects kids too. So, your kids, if your kid is 6 years old, chances are that that kid will probably see that credit report until somewhere between the age of 18 to 21. It's not a good time then to find out that there's items on there that are 10 to 15 years old that now that kid is held accountable for, to address. Whereas with this simple program here, you can have your kids' credit monitored, not only the credit but their social, their IDs, and the same thing would go for you and your spouse. We have teamed up with a fairly large company, and they offer this identity theft protection as well as restoration service, and they also offer a legal expense plan. Okay, so for details on that, just feel free to give me a call, and we'll get you all necessary information to help you make an informed decision about that program as well. Now, our referral program is that if you refer someone who signs up for one of our solutions, basically what we do is we give you a gift card. Okay, if you have any questions about that, give me a call. We'll talk offline. My contact information, I'm Charles. You can reach me at 404-437-5902. I can be reached Monday through Thursday from 9 a.m. to 7:30 p.m. and on Friday from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern. Email is improvemycredit@ymail.com. Once again, that's improvemycredit@mail.com. Website address, if you want to get more information about our credit restoration program, is called correctmycreditplease.com. So I'm going to go ahead and leave this information up on the screen for just a second. Feel free to give us a call. Free evaluation is definitely worth it. I mean, it doesn't cost you anything. It costs you $1 to get access to your credit report at that website that we recommend. We'll review it for free. No obligation. If you decide that you don't need our help, no problem. Okay. If you want to plug into our educational series, by all means do so. If you see that there's a need and you would like to subscribe to one of our programs, definitely do so. Appreciate you watching this video.